Hey Crusaders, I'm Julius.
And I'm AJ.
And today we're going to talk about our favorite animated cartoons with superheroes in them and why they're so important to the superhero genre. So,
yes.
AJ.
Well, I mean, I think it's important when we talk about cartoons, it's important to just, look at all of these cartoons that have been going on for the past, 15, 17 years. And it's so cool because there have been so many.
Yeah.
Movies can only do so much, and comics have always been around, but not everyone always has access to comics. But TV shows have just been so, just such an awesome medium for kids and young adults and adults to just really experience different characters in a new way.
Yeah, and it like introduces them to the characters. Like before you see them in movies, you get like it's like growing up, like watching something, it gets ingrained in your head.
Exactly. And it's also really cool for comic readers to see how some of their favorite comic arcs are adapted into a cartoon. Yeah,
because there's totally different mediums. Like, there's certain stuff you can't do on film that you can do on animated shows. Like, if you took the dialogue from animated cartoons and put them in a movie, it would sound awful. Like they'd be laughed off the stage. But it works in animated stuff, and it's totally different.
And I mean, when you're just looking at different mediums, I mean, it's so cool because they do different things. I mean, if you got like an episode of like Star Trek, from all intents and purposes, it's just a bunch of guys talking, and it's really cool. But if you like put that in a comic, it would be so boring because you wouldn't have the facial expressions. And you wouldn't have, just their voices. It would just be a bunch of guys talking, and it wouldn't be nearly as cool. So when you look at cartoons, it's really interesting because you do get the voice acting, and you do get facial expressions and different things that you don't get in comics. Mm-hmm. But one thing that I really think is disappointing when it comes to cartoons is the lack in quality. Mm-hmm. I think that when they first started out, you had amazing series. You had the Spider-Man animated series, the X-Men animated series, you had the Batman animated series, Superman animated series, the Justice League, and all 5 of those were phenomenal. They were really, really good.
They're all in the same time period from like, it was like 95, like 92 I think was when Batman started, but it was like the mid-90s to like the early 2000s is like the golden age. Yeah,
I mean, that was so good. Like, really kind of a sucky time for comics, but an awesome time for cartoons. Yeah. And so it's really just, those are like, the 5 that were like so incredibly amazing. But then when you get into, future stuff, there were some that were still very good. I like to think, when Teen Titans was on, that was awesome because those were characters that we really hadn't seen a whole lot.
I mean, I still from watching them, like, I know who Robin is, I know who Cyborg is. Like Beast Boy and...
Beast Boy, Raven, Starfire, and Cyborg. Like, I mean, everyone knew Robin because he was in, Justice League Unlimited, and he was also in the Batman animated series.
He's a popular superhero.
Yeah, and so, I mean, we knew him, but we didn't know those 4 others, and so it was really cool because we got to see those others. Yeah. But, and another really good one was Spectacular Spider-Man, and there have been, several other good ones, but I think a lack in quality now is really kind of disturbing.
Yeah, I mean, it's not exactly, like, it's not always just a lack in quality. It's just, like, the absence of them entirely from like, Marvel. Mm-hmm. I mean, DC has been putting out the short films, which, for the most part, are really good. Yeah,
most of them, I would say, recently. Yeah. Well, we got the Dark Knight Returns, and then you have the Flashpoint. They're wanting to do more 52 stories.
And then the Justice League series that they're doing, too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yep, those have been good. They had Justice League War. Mm-hmm. Son of the Batman was okay.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
But, they're producing more, and they want to get more. They want, like, a Suicide Squad, and they want, other things. They just want to, like, produce as many. Yeah. And so far, none of them have really been poor. But, when I look at, like, the Marvel, TV shows, and, they're really lacking now compared to what they were before with, those old Spider-Man shows. There were a lot of really, really good Spider-Man shows, awesome X-Men shows, X-Men Evolution and Wolverine and the X-Men. Those are really good shows. There's not really any X-Men shows going on now.
I don't know, like, I just thinking about it, is like maybe in like they did that, lots of these in the early 2000s before they had like a cinematic universe. And that, like, I doubt it's part of like a unified plan, but like
Yeah.
you know, maybe they don't feel a need to start promoting these characters now because they're already in the film. Or
They could, but I feel like when you have an opportunity to not only introduce more characters, because as many X-Men as they put in the movies, there's still more, and you know, when you have an opportunity to make more money and sell more toys, and I mean, like, it's just revenue. It's so much money. And, I mean, like, I don't care for Ultimate Spider-Man. In fact, I hate it because of how good the previous show was. Spectacular. But I'm buying the toys. Mm-hmm. All right? I'm out of high school, and I'm buying these toys. I have a 31-inch Spider-Man action figure. Yeah. Why? Because it's cool, and it's from, you know, the Ultimate Spider-Man. So you have, like, you know, revenue. But I'm concerned with just the lack in, like, quality, because none of the Marvel shows right now... the Avengers Assemble show, the Hulk's Agents of Smash, which the Hulks are so cool. They're so cool, and I just think that the show is just not that great. And other people might love these shows,
but then again, we're not exactly the target audience for a show called Hulk Agents of Smash.
No, but I mean, I go back and I look at the old X-Men shows, and I look at, you know, the Justice League and the Batman animated series, and they're still really good. Mm-hmm. And I mean, I look at, you know, Batman Beyond. That is, like, the internet loves Batman Beyond. Yeah. But the internet doesn't give a crap about Beware the Batman or Teen Titans Go. They don't. And I look at, like, some really good shows, like Young Justice, I think, was one of my favorite shows recently. The art was so good, and the storytelling was probably the best I've seen in a long time for a cartoon show. Mm-hmm. You had, like, different, you know, teen superheroes that I really knew nothing about. I knew that they existed, but never had I really experienced them before, like Superboy and Miss Martian and Kid Flash and Red Arrow. Like, these aren't people that, like, I was really familiar with, but it made me want to go back and read some old Teen Titans, Young Justice comics. And that should be the point of these shows. It should be not only entertaining, but it should get you to want to experience more of these characters and go out and buy comics and play video games and do these things because of how these characters are so cool. There's a reason they're super. And, you know, I think that these shows need to be inspiring and equipping children to go out and experience more. Yeah. So.
All right, so that's what we think about all the cartoons for Marvel and DC, how important they are, all that stuff. So make sure you guys leave a comment in the comment section, like this video, share it with your friends, and thanks for watching, guys.
Stay ace.